Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about what is a function. Our learning target today is to be able to determine whether a relation is a function and tell the domain and range. A relation is a function if each element in the domain is paired with exactly one element in the range. What does that actually mean? That means that every x has only one y value. Now, when we are talking about what a domain is all of your possible x values in a situation. Your range is all of your possible y values in a situation. Let's go ahead and look at a couple examples here to determine what a domain and range would be. So, for example, I have a 5 here. The 5 is going to 4. That is okay. It's just going to one thing. The 2 is going to 1. That is okay. 0 is going to -2. That is okay. -3 is going to 1. That is okay. Each x is only going to one y. So we would say that, yes, this thing is a function. Next up, we have our next example here. 4 is going to both 2 and 5. That is not allowed. Your x cannot go to more than one thing. So we would say, no, this is not a function. Here we have another example, just a differently represented way. So I have 2 is going to 7. I have no other 2's. I have 5 is going to -3, but if I look, I also have 5 going to 2. This is not allowed, so we would say, no, this is not a function. Our next example, I have 3 is going to 7. I also have 3 is going to 5. This is not allowed, so we would say, no, this is not a function. Next up, we're going to talk about a visual representation. To do that, we have to use the vertical line test. This is a visual way to determine if a curve or a line is a graphical function or not. To use the VLT, draw an imaginary vertical line and see if they cross the graph more than once. So let's go ahead and look what I am talking about. So our first example, our graph is this thing right here. And to run the vertical line test, basically you just imagine you have a line that is going straight up and down. And if it touches your graph twice in one spot, then it is not a function. So let's go ahead and look at that. So I'm touching in one spot, touching in one spot, touching in one spot. Oh, right here it is touching in 2 spots. What do I mean by that? I mean it touches right here and it's touching right here. That is not allowed, so we would say, no, this is not a function. We can do the same exact test on our next graph. We simply look at this. Imagine you had a straight up and down line, like so. And I'm going to push that line, touching in one spot, touching in one spot, touching in one spot, touching in one spot, touching in one spot. It never is touching the graph twice at the same time, so we would say that, yes, this is a function. Our final page is to answer some questions about this graph right here. So it says, what is the value of y when x equals 2? So if we look at this, our x value is 2 right here. Now, our graph is not touching that, but if we extended it, we would see that it's about touching at when y equals 6. What is the value of y when x equals -1? So if x is equal to -1, that's going to be right here. So this is when my x value is -1. And I can look and see it is about right here where it touches at. And I would say that is -0.5 in the y direction. Is there ever a time when one x value will have more than one y value? So basically, I'm asking you guys, does it pass the vertical line test? So to do that, let's draw a vertical line. And then let's just look and see. So, no, looks like we are good to go. It is only touching in one spot. So we would say, no, it is not touching in more than one spot. Is this graph a function? Well, so to answer this question, because we said no, that means it passes the vertical line test. So is this graph a function? Yes. And I asked for an explanation. How do we know it? It passes the vertical line test, also known as the VLT. That is all for our notes today. I will see you guys tomorrow.